For us to say that you've got to take a responsibility to get health insurance is absolutely not a tax increase. What it's saying is that we're not going to have other people carrying your burdens for you.
Obamacare was bad law yesterday. It's bad law today. Let me tell you why I say that. Obamacare raises taxes on the American people by approximately $500 billion.
A tax by any other name is still apparently a tax. With more details, we turn to Peter Nicholas in Washington, D.C. Hi, Peter. So yesterday, laying the groundwork for people, and we'll kind of try to spin it forward in terms of how the different parties are going to use this. But the Obama administration had said the overhaul, the health care overhaul, it is constitutional because of the Commerce Clause. The Supreme Court said, well, no, actually it's constitutional because if you are requiring people to carry health insurance, they don't, you penalize them. That's like a tax. Congress has the ability to levy taxes, so that's why it's constitutional. But why, again, laying the groundwork, why did the Commerce Clause not work and this, Congress's ability to raise taxes did work?
Well, the Supreme Court took a look at this. They examined the two arguments, the Commerce Clause argument and the tax argument, and ultimately what they decided was that it would be a reach to apply the Commerce Clause, that Congress can't essentially regulate commercial activity that's not happening. It can only regulate commercial activity that is currently going on, and that it would be an expansion of federal power where it tried to delve into the area of creating commerce and regulating that and claiming that that's constitutional. But what Justice Roberts and the rest of the majority of the court decided was that under the taxation clause, it is constitutional. And this is, of course, great irony for Barack Obama, who throughout his presidency has argued that the enforcement mechanism, the penalty that would be applied for those who don't buy insurance, that this is not a tax. So he is now in the odd position of having to, he's grateful to the Supreme Court for salvaging his health care bill, but the reason they applied was that it was a tax, which is something he's been arguing the opposite now for years.
And what do you think then, how do you think Governor Romney and other Republicans might kind of capitalize on this tax word?
Well, you can see them doing it already. The Republicans are delighting in this, and the silver lining that they see in this, they were hoping that the law would be thrown out, obviously, but the silver lining is they now can claim this fits into a Republican narrative that they're trying to raise taxes, that the Obama administration is, Obama's a classic tax and spend liberal, and the health care bill is just another example of that. So that's the message that they're going to be pushing. And what the White House tells us is that they believe they're going to argue the opposite point. They're going to say that the tax credits offered to small business to help them afford health care coverage is in a sense a tax cut. So both sides are kind of spinning this as quickly and as zealously as they can to play out throughout the campaign.
And again, to be clear, when we're talking about a tax here, right, it's not necessarily a tax as a revenue generator. As Chief Justice Roberts pointed out, this is taxing as an incentive, right? Just like taxes are high on cigarettes because you want to discourage people from using them. This is kind of an incentive-based tax, right, with the health care law.
Exactly. It's still a tax, but it's not a classic tax that we think of to raise revenue for public purposes. It's a tax to essentially encourage people to buy health insurance, but it's a tax nonetheless. And Barack Obama, in a much-publicized interview with George Stephanopoulos in 2009, repeatedly argued that it was not a tax. There was an interesting exchange where Stephanopoulos read him the dictionary definition of a tax, and Obama still denied that it was that. So there's many rich ironies in politics, and this is one of the more exquisite ones.
Right, right. Never deny anything too adamantly, right? It could end up coming back to haunt you. And do you think then, with your conversations with the Obama administration, do you think that they are going to ever use the word tax? I mean, are they going to keep using the idea that, well, yes it was won by this, but the Commerce Clause also underpins this win?
The Obama administration cannot afford to describe this as a tax. The Supreme Court said what it said. The Obama administration is going to stick to its talking points. In 2008, Obama spoke to an audience in Orlando, Florida, and made pretty much a read my lips promise. He said he is not going to raise taxes on the middle class. He said he won't raise taxes of any kind, and that was his quote. So they can't afford to depict this as a tax. What they're going to say is it's a penalty, it's a fine that applies in certain circumstances, but you're not going to hear the word tax from them. Others can use it. What they're going to argue is really the opposite, that, you know, given the tax credits that small businesses can take advantage of, this is really, in some sense, if anything, a tax cut.